Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Charlotte et aujourd'hui nous allons étudier 5 blagues nulles. D'accord? So, hello everyone, today we're going to look at 5 really silly jokes in French. Okay, I think they're very funny. C'est vraiment mon truc, it's really my kind of thing. So, let's get started. And forgive the sound, I know that the sound is not optimum at the moment, but that's because there's an issue connecting my lovely blue Yeti mic to the software I use to record the sound. So at the moment I'm using the sound from the mic that's integrated to my webcam. So ce n'est pas idéal, mais ça va aller, ça doit aller, donc on y va, c'est parti. Okay, so let's have a look at the ones I'm going to tell you. So these jokes are, yes, they're silly, but they're going to show you some useful structures for asking questions and for how to form some play on words, or some plays on words, yeah, wordplay, and they're going to also make some, I think, quite useful cultural references. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Okay, numéro 1. Tu connais la blague de la chaise? Tu connais la blague de la chaise? Tu connais la blague de la chaise? So, this is a do you know the one about? That kind of structure in a joke, okay? Do you know the one about? Tu connais la blague de la chaise? So, do you know the one about is tu connais la blague de? So, connaître is the verb, connaît comes from the verb connaître, and that's to be familiar with, are you aware of, and it's followed often by by a noun. Okay, so la blague de la chaise. La chaise is the chair. So do you know the one about the chair? Tu connais la blague de la chaise? Now, if that was in the vous form, it would be vous connaissez. Vous connaissez la blague de la chaise? Because if you're asking more than one person, like I'm addressing you all, vous connaissez la blague de la chaise? But here, if you're just asking, if you're saying a joke with someone that you know, just one other person, it's informal, you'll probably be using the tu form, okay? Because that's just the informal singular form of address. So, tu connais la blague de la chaise? What do you think the answer is? Quelle est la réponse? Quelle est la réponse? So, la chaise, elle est tellement longue. Elle est tellement longue. So let's have a look at that. Elle est tellement longue. So, this is a play on words. So, you might have heard of a chaise longue. Chaise longue. So, you kind of pronounce the G at the end. Longue. That's because la chaise is a feminine noun. So, une chaise longue, when we talk about a chaise longue, it's like, tends to look like a sofa with like a little bit of a backrest at one end, and that's what we call a chaise longue. But a chaise longue in French can also be like a deck chair. Okay, it's one of those long chairs that you can recline on. Okay, so here the joke, or the meaning is, the funny part is that elle est tellement longue can refer to la blague de la chaise, the joke about the chair. Elle could refer to la blague. The joke is a really long joke, but here it's also referring to the chair, which is long. Okay, so tu connais la blague de la chaise? Elle est tellement longue. Often in English, like if I'm looking on, say, Facebook Marketplace, I notice that people often sell a chaise longue, okay, like a long chair, reclining chair, but they spell longue lounge. So instead of putting the U after the G, which is like correct feminine agreement of the adjective long, which agrees with la chaise, or with la blague, they write lounge, which makes sense kind of in English because we use a chair to lounge on. You'll find a chair in the lounge, but it's actually une chaise longue. Longue. Okay? Oui, moi j'aime bien cette blague. I really find that funny. So, numéro 2. Numéro 2. So, tu connais la blague de? Do you know the one about? Do you know the joke about? This here is a structure that you'll probably find elsewhere in jokes, okay? But it's also useful when you're asking a normal question. So, qu'est-ce qui? What is it that? Okay, or what is that? What is it that? What is it which? What is, basically. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Let me just go forward a little bit. Un peu plus près. Oui. Voilà, c'est numéro 2, là. Qu'est-ce qui? Qu'est-ce qui? Qu'est-ce qui? That pronunciation, qu'est-ce qui, becomes qu'est-ce qui? Qu'est-ce qui? It's as if it has 2 syllables instead of qu'est-ce qui. But you might also hear someone pronouncing it like qu'est-ce qui, with 3 syllables. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? So, this qu'est-ce qui thing here is very similar to qu'est-ce que, which also means what. However, qu'est-ce qui is usually followed by a verb. Here we have the verb être in the third person singular, okay? He, she, or it. What is it that is not a steak? Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? So, qu'est-ce qui means what, or what is it that is, in its long form, and it's followed by a verb of some kind, a conjugated verb. That means one that's been changed from its root form. And here we've got it in the negative with a ne and a pas around the verb, but it's still followed by a verb. It's just a verb in the negative form. Donc, qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? This one is a play on words. I think it's delightful, and it also gives you, in its answer, a piece of food vocabulary, which is maybe not like the most common, but a useful one nonetheless. So, qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? What is it not a steak? This is the answer. Une pastèque. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Une pastèque. Now the reason I think that's funny is because pastèque sounds like pastèque, not steak. So une pastèque is a watermelon. I think it's very funny. C'est marrant, non? C'est rigolo. It's fun. Oui, c'est nul, mais c'est marrant quand même. It's stupid, but it's still quite funny. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Une pastèque. So, qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? There you have a liaison between the S in pas, which doesn't normally get pronounced, and the U in un. Un steak. So, a steak, like, you know, a piece of cut of meat, cut of beef maybe, is a feminine, excusez-moi, pardon, it's a masculine noun. Un steak, le steak. Okay, the steak or a steak, un. But une pastèque happens to be a feminine noun, okay? But it's still pastèque. It also has like a little an accent grave over the E. So you find that accent over the E in très, or après, very, and after. Après-midi, again, has the same accent, which points sort of towards the beginning of the word, from the bottom right up to the sort of left. That's an accent grave, a grave accent. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. Numéro 3. Pardon, par là. Ok. Que fait le crocodile quand il rencontre une superbe femelle? Qu'est-ce qu'il fait le crocodile? Qu'est-ce qu'il fait? What does he do? Qu'est-ce qu'il... Oh, excusez-moi. Que fait? What did I do there? So, qu'est-ce qu'il fait le crocodile? Que fait le crocodile? So, just through habit, I guess, I use the qu'est-ce que or qu'est-ce qu'il fait? What does he do, the crocodile? But actually you can shorten qu'est-ce que or qu'est-ce qu'il in this instance down to que, and that's a great way of asking a question. So if you hear a question that starts with a que sound, but you're expecting to hear qu'est-ce que or qu'est-ce qui, it just means what. Okay, so que fait le crocodile quand il rencontre une superbe femelle? So what does the crocodile do? What does the crocodile? What does he do? So that's often the case. You'll have the verb before the subject, whereas in, say, English we'll have what does the crocodile eat, or what does the crocodile do? Now, it's made more complicated because we say what do, what does in a question. So we use the word do and does as a marker of the fact that we're asking a question. We would say, for example, what does the crocodile do when he meets a wonderful female? What does the crocodile eat? What do you like doing? So that que fait, the fait, even though it's from the verb that translates as to do or to make, the verb faire, it's not the do word that appears at the beginning of most of the English language questions. Do you like, do you want, what does he do, what do you do for fun? It's the second verb do in the question. What does the crocodile do when he meets a wonderful or an amazing or a superb female? Now, I'm going to show you the handout for my French club from this month, because in it, this is just for my French club members, okay? So if you are not a member of my French club, you can become a member by getting in touch using the details below. Please do that, that'd be great. So you can become a member and get a link to a monthly video like this one, which I send the last Thursday of every month, but you'll also have a bespoke handout. I've made it just for you guys, which will contain more content, more language content than the video. It will also contain, for example, some exercises, some links to places online where you can deepen your understanding of what's been talked about in this video tutorial. So please feel free to become a member. You also get an exclusive discount on my one-to-one private language tuition sessions, okay? So that's an exclusive there. So there's my little plug out of the way. Okay, c'est parti, let's start again. So here I've got, for the benefit of my club members really, some little images which refer to these jokes. On the June handout for this month, there's actually 10 jokes mentioned on here. So in this video we're just doing 5. But voilà, il y a une pastèque, that's a little watermelon there. Qu'est-ce qui n'est... Oh, pardon, tu connais la blague de la chaise? Là, nous avons une chaise longue, là, voilà. Now this one here, que fait le crocodile quand il rencontre une superbe femelle? Here we have a little clue. Regardez ça alors. There, voilà. Now, if you're not familiar, that is the very well known, I think, especially in Europe, brand logo, the little crocodile from Coste, which is a clothing brand, kind of sportswear, casual sportswear, and very popular in France, and that's le petit crocodile de la marque Lacoste. Keep that in mind for this joke. So let's return to the joke. Que fait le crocodile quand il rencontre une superbe femelle? Il l'accoste. Il l'accoste. Why is that funny, Charlotte? Why is that funny? Moi, je trouve très, très drôle. So, il l'accoste. Ouh, est-ce qu'il y en a? Oui, il y a 2 C. Oui. Il l'accoste. So, just thinking there whether that has a double C in it, but this is the answer. So have a little look there. What does it mean? It sounds like the brand name. Mais qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Il accoster means to accost someone, to stop them, or to kind of draw up alongside them. Okay? And il refers to le crocodile, and it's he. He does something. He accosts her. So that little L there refers to la superbe femelle. So if that wasn't a verb that began with an A, or a verb that begins with a vowel, then this L apostrophe would actually be la. If it was he eats her, for example, it would be il la mange. Okay? Mais en fait, il ne la mange pas, il l'accoste. So that's a direct object pronoun. So he accosts her, he stops her, he sees her. Any verb that is followed in English directly by the direct object, to see her, to see him, to accost them, to see us, it even, then that little direct object pronoun, which refers back to an object, such as une superbe femelle, it's replaced with an object pronoun, and that in French goes in front of the verb. So in English it would go after. He eats her, he accosts her, he sees her. In French it's like you say he, her accosts, he, her eats. Okay, so that's what's happening there. So il l'accoste sounds like the name Lacoste, ce qui est le nom de la marque. Okay, le nom de la marque, très connu, Lacoste. I'm just going to double check that that's a double C there, because je crois que oui, mais il faut juste vérifier des fois. So sometimes it's just worth double checking, like if something's oui, il y en a deux. Yeah, so that is correct, accoste, but it's from the verb accoster. Sometimes if you're not sure about how something's written, just go and check. Faut juste aller vérifier, c'est super simple. Aller par internet, chercher. Moi, par exemple, je vais sur mon site web préféré presque, which is just wordreference.com. Go on there. It's a really great website. So accoster has two C's. So let's just recap. How would we ask, do you know the one about? Do you know the joke about? So we're using the to form just because it's singular and it's informal. It's the kind of thing you probably would share with a friend, or a friend would ask you, tu connais la blague de blah 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 blah. Do you know the one about blah blah blah? So do you know the one about the chair? How are you going to ask that one? Tu connais la blague de la chaise? De la chaise. Excellent. So what's the answer? Elle est tellement longue. Oh, elle est tellement longue. I didn't explain. Let's go and have a little look. Tellement. C'est quoi ce tellement là? Tellement. That means très longue. Très longue. Vraiment longue. C'est longue à l'extrême, presque. D'accord? It means just really or so. So, tellement, you will hear it's a way of kind of emphasizing something. Okay, it's really long. It's a really long joke. It's a really long chair. So, what is not a steak? How do we start off that question? So this is one of the qu'est sounding sort of interrogative phrases. Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? Qu'est-ce qui n'est pas un steak? What is not a steak? What isn't a steak? Une pastèque. Oui, c'est une pastèque. So, the thing that is not a steak is une pastèque. A watermelon. So, there you can see que fait, what does the crocodile, what does the crocodile do when he meets a superb female? Il l'accoste. he accosts her. He stops her, he comes up and has a chat. Okay, numéro 4. Okay, so this isn't really, it is a joke, but it's like a different format. So this is a phone call. Allô, c'est Jésus. Mais non, mais si. Okay, so that's all it is. It's 3 lines, 2 people interacting in a telephone call. So let's go down. I absolutely love this desk. J'ai un peu mal au dos en ce moment, donc c'est bureau qui est gérable. Oh, c'est super parce que je peux rester debout comme ça. So at the moment I've got a really bad back for some reason, and this height adjustable desk, this like what do we call it? Standing desk is really helping my back. Donc voilà. Allô, c'est Jésus. Mais non. So that mais non is like no way, or get out of here, or it can't be true, it's not true, it isn't you. You know, it's that kind of thing. You'll hear it a lot in French. Oh mais non. You'll also hear it when people are like disappointed or angry about something. Oh mais non. Like, oh God, no. That kind of thing, okay? Like you miss a train, something breaks, you spill a drink, whatever. It's like saying no way. And then this here, mais si. Now you may not have seen this in French, but I remember the first time I encountered this si. So when you hear si in French, it's as if you're saying oui, oui c'est moi. It's like it's affirming the contrary of what's been said. So I can't really think, the equivalent would be something like yes it is, yes it is, like it's, yeah, it's me. So si is a way that you would say yes, but contrary to what's been stated. So if someone said, no, that's not really you, and you're saying, mais si, c'est moi. Yes, it's me. So if you hear si, you might, like me, think, hang on a minute, si. I was learning Italian at the time when I heard that first in French, and I thought, oh, that's an Italian way of saying yes. Why would they use that? Actually, it's just kind of insisting on the contrary to what's been stated previously. Okay, so it basically means yes with emphasis. To the contrary, though. Okay, there's that sense of le contraire. Now, why is that funny? Do you think it's funny? I'm just going to check the spelling of the word. This is a play on words here. Mais si. Now have a look at it. So this one here is Jesus, and that's also Jesus, and that's the person who's answered the phone. So let me have a look there. Ah oui, il y a un accent comme ça. Jésus, Jésus. Okay. Now this is the word that I'm looking for. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's how it's spelled. So, allô, c'est Jésus? Mais non. Mais si. Okay. So, mais si is very similar, virtually the same as the word that means Messiah. Okay, the Messiah. Very difficult for me not to mention Monty Python there and the Holy Grail. No, not the Holy Grail, the Life of Brian. I think it's just called La Vie de Brian, peut-être. Anyway, the Messiah. So, mais si. Okay, mais si. Ah oui, c'est le Messie. Messie sounds exactly like me si, as in, yeah, it's me, it is. D'accord? Moi, je trouve que c'est super marrant, ça. I know it's a bit ridiculous, but I just find it really funny. Okay, and the last one. Okay, now this here is, it's going to be a bit awkward if we can't get it. There you go. Voilà. Sorry about the setup today. It's not ideal. I hope that sounds not too off-putting. So this is my favourite one, and this really has to do with the brand name, which let's just put down like this. Well, let's just have a look. Okay, nous regardons. Okay, pourquoi? So that's a slightly different one. Why? Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes? Why do you always go to the bathroom or to the loo avec du pain? Avec du pain. Du pain. Whenever you see du or de la or des or de à l'apostrophe, It doesn't always, but often it kind of means some, okay, or a bit of something. Some. Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? Oh, c'est un peu bizarre ça, non? Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? So why do you always go to the bathroom with bread? Why do you take bread with you to the bathroom? Why do you always take bread with you to the bathroom? That's probably the best way of putting that if you're translating it back. Du pain means some bread. And this is the tu vas, that's the verb aller, which is very irregular. Ça va bien. Je vais aux toilettes. Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? Now, why do you think this is funny? What do you think it could be hinting at? Why do you always take bread with you to the bathroom? Now, that aux toilettes thing there, the answer to this, you need to know that the word for a toilet, like the ceramic thing, like a little ceramic thing that you sit on when you use the toilet, in French we call it WC, okay, and that comes from the like the acronym, abbreviation WC, which means, I think, water closet. Okay, a polite way of saying the place where you use the bathroom, you use the toilet, okay? You go to the loo. Loads of ways of saying it in English. WC is the word for the actual toilet, okay? So, this is the answer, okay? Pourquoi tu vas aux toilettes avec du pain? Let me just get the precise answer. Oui. C'est pour donner à manger au canard WC. I just think it's so funny. Okay, so I'll write the answer out. Keep in mind that WC means toilet, okay? Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? C'est pour, it is, so, c'est pour donner à manger. Donner à manger. That means, donner à manger is to feed. Okay, to give something to eat to. C'est pour donner à manger. So it's to feed the, where am I going with this? Or, so to give to eat, or to feed to the, c'est pour donner à manger à qui? Au canard WC. Canard WC. Now, les canards WC, what does that mean? Let's come back up here so I don't have to stoop down like a crazy lady. C'est pour donner à manger au canard WC. So this is, I'm not sure how far this reference will stretch, but it's a bit like the Lacoste. Okay, if you know the mark, the brand Lacoste, you might recognize the brand Toilet Duck. Okay, qui est ça? Okay, so that's a chemical kind of product, a cleaning product for cleaning toilets. Okay, you squirt the product under the rim of the actual toilet, the loo, the thing you sit on, and in French, the name actually translates across quite nicely. C'est le canard WC, the toilet duck, and they use WC like we use the word toilet. It kind of modifies the noun. Okay, so I think that's really funny. Pourquoi? I'll say in English. Why do you take bread with you to the bathroom? It's to feed the toilet duck. Pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? C'est pour donner à manger au canard WC. Now, I find all of those incredibly funny, so I'm sorry if they're like ridiculous, but you got to laugh at things, right? And it makes language learning more fun. But the main point of that is that you can take some of those structures and use them in everyday French. Okay, questions. Okay, yes, you can break the ice maybe with some colleagues or friends or family by telling them a silly joke. Okay, sharing some common ground via their language. Awesome. Faites-le, do it. But you can also borrow some of these structures. So, not only can you maybe recognise when a joke's being told, like tu connais la blague de, do you know the one about? Qu'est-ce qui est or qu'est-ce qui n'est pas? what is or what isn't something or other. Que fait le? What does the so-and-so do? Que dit le? Oh, here's another one. I'll give you another one. Que dit l'escargot? In fact, this is on my handout. Que dit un escargot quand il croise une masse? What does a snail say when he meets or he runs into, he crosses paths with a slug? Oh, un naturiste. Oh, naturist. I thought that was quite funny because it's a snail without the shell, so it's as if he's naked. That's why c'est pour ça. C'est marrant. Mais non. So que dit, que fait. The que plus a verb plus the subject. That's quite a standard one. This little conversation with Jésus. Allô, c'est Jésus. Mais non. Mais si. The thing to take from that is the insisting to the contrary of something that someone's said. You probably wouldn't say mais oui. I mean, you might do, but if you hear mais si, then that si basically means yes, it is whatever you said it isn't. It actually is. Okay, so that's a useful one. And then the pourquoi tu vas toujours aux toilettes avec du pain. The thing that I would take away from that is the pourquoi can be followed directly by a subject pronoun like tu. And that one there. Let's go back in a bit. This is like most question words, like que, pourquoi, quand, où, comment. Like lots of the interrogative phrases, like where, what, when, how, who, etc. Qui would be who, can be directly followed by the subject pronoun tu, vous, nous, il, elle, on, il, elle, plural. And then the verb conjugated in agreement with the subject. So pourquoi, if this was in the vous form, not that it would be, kind of weird thing to talk about, but if it was addressed to, say, more than one person, why do you guys always go to the bathroom with bread? Then it would need to be vous. Pourquoi vous allez toujours aux toilettes avec du pain? Pourquoi Paul, il va toujours? So you could also use someone's name, or, you know, it could be, pourquoi nous mangeons toujours du pain? Why do we always eat bread? You know, so you can start a question with a question word, generally, followed by the subject, followed by the verb in agreement with the subject, and the rest of the sentence. That's like probably the easiest. It's as if you're making a statement, why you always go to the bathroom with bread. And then you just use your intonation, but like at the end to make it sound like a question. Why do you always go to the bathroom with bread? Okay, or you can use your expression, but you also have the pourquoi at the beginning, so it is kind of clear that it's a question. And then the du pain, that bit there, du pain, let's think of other things. So that basically means bread, as in some bread, okay? But let's think of some other examples. Du café, that just means like coffee. De l'eau. That's a useful one. Can I have some water, please? Est-ce que je peux avoir de l'eau, s'il vous plaît? Or just de l'eau, s'il vous plaît? You know, if you're feeling very push for time. De l'eau, du café. What have we got up there? De la confiture. I can never think of anything else that's feminine. De la confiture means jam or jelly, right? Fruit jelly. Something you spread on bread. Du, de la, and de plus L apostrophe. That's for any word that starts with a vowel, okay? Whether it's masculine or feminine, it doesn't matter. Du comes before a noun that's masculine. Oh, there's the reflection. There's the reflection from my light. De la is, the la tells you that means some in front of a noun that's feminine and singular. And then de means some in front of anything that's anything that's plural. So des stylos, des papiers, des livres, des cheveux. Okay, so voilà, ça y est, there are my 5 stupid jokes. Voici mes 5 blagues nulles. Okay, and if you want to join my French club, you can get in touch using the contact details below, or you can go to morelanguagesolutions.com. I'll write that down for you, parce que pourquoi pas. You can find me on Facebook. I'll be using that a lot more. I've been quiet for like the last 3 months because of, there's a reason for it, but tu vas bien? Je suis de retour. I'm back, if you like, at least for the time being. morelanguagesolutions.com. So find me on Facebook, add me as a friend, find my business name, Facebook.com/More Language Solutions. But if you've liked this video, please give me a like, give me a thumbs up under the video, and feel free to subscribe. That would be fantastic. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments and I will try and get back to you on them. But yeah, à la prochaine fois. Bonne semaine. Have a good week, guys. Merci. Au revoir.